Hi, welcome along to AFTV. Once again, let's big up NordVPN. Have you ever been yelling at your screen because the stream or show just buffers at the worst possible moment? Not with NordVPN, and they're offering AFTV viewers 4 extra months on a 2-year plan. Just head over to nordvpn.com/AFTV or click the link in the description below to grab this exclusive offer. These guys are not messing around. They've got the fastest VPN in the world. Forget about all the other providers. NordVPN is nearly twice as fast, and that's what you need for that smooth, uninterrupted action. Grab the deal right now at nordvpn.com for 4 extra months free on a 2-year plan. And forget about that dreaded buffer wheel. Not to mention, it's risk-free with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee. Thanks to NordVPN for powering this video. If you are traveling, absolutely essential to get it. We're going to be over in Sierra Leone, and I'll tell you what, NordVPN is going to keep me up to date with everything that's happening in the Premier League. So keeps you secure. Jump onto NordVPN, click the link in the description. What can I say? Big game, guys. Carabao Cup, chance to get into the semi-finals. We know that the manager has been coming under a lot of criticism after the weekend's game. And this is a chance to sort of take his mind off the Premier League for a little bit and try and aim to win a trophy. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people who say, what if he doesn't win a trophy this season? Well, this is a trophy that we could definitely win. We've got a home tie against Crystal Palace. We're playing them twice in 1 week. So I'm sure that's going to have an effect on the team selection on both sides. And probably favours us more because we're playing at home. So you probably see, I don't know, I get a feeling Palace could make even more changes than us. But where are you at with this game? Crystal Palace at home, Carabao Cup, yeah, ahead of the Premier League game.
Listen, it's a big chance for Arteta to be in a semi-final, Arsenal to be in a semi-final. But for me, the Carabao Cup doesn't decide a manager's fate, win or lose it, you know. So regardless of a win that I expect to come on Wednesday night, I've still got the feeling that, you know, we're messing it up in the biggest of all, the Premier League. You know, last week against Monaco, we went into it kind of deflated because we had just dropped points to Fulham and you saw me last week in the preview, Laurie. I said I wasn't up for it. But we beat Monaco 3-0 and then it goes back to the Premier League and it's a similar result to that Fulham one, a lack of creativity, and now it's kind of another obstacle in our way before another Premier League tie against them. So listen, it's a big chance for us to get to the semis. We should get to the semis. We were blessed with the tie, our home tie against Palace, when you consider Tottenham, United, Liverpool are still in the competition. We got a good tie out of it. We should win it. It's just, you know, even if we go and win it like we should 2-3-0, that dark cloud is still going to be hovering come Crystal Palace away on Saturday, because it's going to be a very different game. I'm with you. I think Palace are going to make changes on Wednesday. I expect an Eddie to start against us, but on Saturday I think they'll go full strength. And when you're playing away under the lights, because it gets dark here at like 4-5 now, yeah, it's a different game. But let's go do what we have to do on Wednesday.
Yeah, and I mean, you want to go into that game against Palace in the Premier League with a win, don't you? You want to go in there with a confidence boost. You want to like sort of put a bit of doubt into Crystal Palace's mind, and also for Arsenal, a team that's not been scoring enough goals from open play. We've been criticised for that. You want to see some free-flowing football, goals raining in, to get that confidence, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, this is a big game. I think this is a big game. You spoke earlier, Robbie, about the manager being under a little bit of pressure. We're not going as well in the league as we would like. So the Carabao Cup is a welcome distraction for me. It's a game that we need to win. It's a big game.
When you say welcome distraction, though, it's the same team. So, you know what I mean, we're going to be playing them in the Carabao Cup, then again on the Saturday. Do you think that adds extra significance to it, the fact that it's coming up against the same opposition?
Not really, to be honest. I think he needs to look at the game in isolation. I think he needs to look at the game in terms of, we need to win a trophy this season. The Carabao Cup is probably the least of the priorities. Well, not, you know, probably is. That being said, though, the manager's not won a trophy now. Well, he's won 1 trophy in his 5 years here. I'm sure he'll be looking at this game on Wednesday and saying, listen, we need to win it, get into the semi-final, and it's a big opportunity to go on and win a competition which, let's face it, we've not won since the 1990s. So, big game for me.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, listen, for a manager, if you can bank one trophy, regardless of whether you say the importance of it and that, and we know that the Carabao Cup is the least important trophy to win, but if you can bank that and say, right, I've got a trophy, at least, even though you're still under loads of pressure in the league, at least that takes a little pressure off, innit? Because you've won something for the fans.
Yeah, because it does take a little pressure off, because the first argument back in, if we give Arteta any credit, is what has he won? Now there's a lot of people that still hold the Carabao Cup highly, and they still rate it, and I understand that there is history behind it. But for me, you know what it is? When you dream of a steak going into a season and then you end up with biscuits in February, you're not happy, are you? You're not happy, and that's what it would be. But when you're starving in January, you'll take biscuits in February, but that you forget that you wanted steak in August. So it's just this is the roller coaster we're on.
Biscuits to steak.
Biscuits.
I mean, that's a real drop.
And it's rich tea biscuits. There ain't no chocolate on it. There ain't no caramel inside it. It's just rich tea, plain biscuits, no tea, hot water. That's what Carabao Cup is. It's nice. It's a trophy, and it will stop people saying, what have you won? I get that. But the reality is, do you remember my interview after the FA Cup winning? I forgot which one it was, but we done it at Box Park, and I said, listen, this is massive. It's a big trophy for us, but let's not forget that we need to be challenging and winning Premier Leagues. So I think Carabao Cup, I welcome it, I want it. We should be in a semi-final come January. But once you win it in February, we're all looking at May and what we're going to do in May. So let's do what we have to do and hope for a good draw in the semis.
How important is a performance in this game?
You know what it is, in terms of cup competitions, the performance doesn't always have to be great. It's all about getting through to the next round. So I'm not particularly, hyped up about the performance having to be great. Even though,
as I said, it's ahead of playing the same opposition again on the weekend.
Yeah, even taking that into account, because I'm the type of person that even if we eke out two mediocre 1-0 wins against Crystal Palace, as long as we achieve the aims, I'll be happy with that, to be honest. Obviously, we want to see the team play fluent, fast-flowing, goal-scoring football, but at the end of the day, a win is a win is a win, as I always say. All
right, well, listen, I think one of the most interesting things about this game come Wednesday is going to be, what will the team be? You know what I mean? Because obviously, game on the weekend, but not only that, you're playing the same team twice. Now, do you go strong and just say, right, you put it all out there and say, right, we're going to go strong and this is the team going to play you in both games? Or do you make lots of changes for, say, this game and holding back the strongest team, to the weekend? And is this an opportunity for some other players? Because we've been seeing a lot of the main players getting a lot of grief and a lot of stick. Is this an opportunity for some of those, I wouldn't even call them fringe players, but players that ain't really got a lot of starts to come in there and say to the manager, start me on the weekend?
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, what team would you go with? Run me through your team.
I think you got to mix it up, Rob, man. Okay, let me run.
Obviously, we're going to have probably Raya in goal, yeah?
Probably Raya in goal, I get that.
Neto's cup tie.
I wouldn't be against Setford. I wouldn't be against it. I think he's a keeper that comes in with high regard at such a young age. It's the only competition he can play. Ultimately, Carabao Cup has taken on more importance now. That's the thing. Yeah. But I wouldn't mind to see either or play. I don't think that should define the game. The back line, I'm going...
This is interesting now, because...
Definitely not Gabriel, because it was a muscle injury that kept him out, I believe, hamstring or something, and you don't want to risk it. So I'd say Kivior starts. You could have that
conversation with the manager though and say, look, how are you feeling? Because to me, anyway, sorry, I'd go
Kivior or Saliba. I think Saliba ever present, and I don't expect a difficult night ahead. So Saliba, Kivior, Lewis Skelly retains the left back position. Right back, I can't lie, I want to give Timber a little rest as well. I want to just take him out. Not saying he's tired, but he's a player that's come back from injury.
Vital for that game on the weekend.
But all we've got now is Josh Nichols to back him up in that, because I'm not putting Partey right back either. Ben White's out injured, Tomiyasu's out injured, so our options are limited. So I'd say Nichols.
All right, your midfield?
Jorginho, Marino, Ranieri.
Okay, and up front?
An embarrassment of riches.
It's crazy. I'd probably start Havertz up top.
Right.
Jesus on the right, Sterling on the left.
Okay, let's get yours. What would you go for?
I'm pretty much with Turkish, although I would have Partey in at right back. I think we've not seen Josh Nichols much this season. It's quarter-final of a big competition. I think it might be a little unfair on him, actually, to just bring him in at this stage. So I would go with Partey. The rest of the lineup you named is pretty much where I'd go with.
Yeah.
I hear that.
It's not a bad line. I mean, I think that right back position is a problem.
Yeah.
Because Partey as well, you know what I mean, you kind of want to be holding him back for the game on the weekend as well, you know what I mean?
Now,
for
why
that
can't
Premier
he play
League
2
game.
games
He
in a
missed
week?
the game not long ago.
And he was sort of like a player that seems to me that even if you notice against Monaco, he didn't start that game because they were obviously holding him back for the game at the weekend. And
again, conversations might need to be had. You might need to, along with the medical staff, and say, look, you know, 2 games in a week. And let's face it, it's not just any 2 games. It's going to be 2 games of intensity, because I expect Palace to come here. Yes, they're going to make changes. Yeah, exactly. It's a London derby. They're going to have a lot of fans here. They're not going to want to chuck this away, because I'm pretty sure Palace, well, they should be anyway. They'll be looking at this competition and thinking, look, we've got a chance of winning this too.
Yeah,
so
and you know, and expect them as well to come here and play like we've seen the last 2 teams that have had success against us, even those games have been draws. And by the way, let's remember that if they could take it to the end of the game and it's a draw, it goes down to penalties. Yeah. So a draw, taking a game like this to a draw ain't even a bad shout for a team like Palace. So they might go very defensive. Would we have enough to break them down with those selections you guys have gone for?
It looks bleak, innit? You know, I just told you my lineup, and as you two started talking, I started thinking about my lineup and thinking, oh my gosh.
Do you think Palace will make a load of changes though? I think that they'll
make some changes.
I feel they will. I don't think they'll play like
Eddie's starting, and he hasn't started in a little while.
Yeah, I feel they will. I feel I could see them leaving out.
You think they leave out Eze and all them, man? I don't think they will.
Eze's just come back from an injury. I could see. I'm saying that probably you could. It wouldn't surprise me those players start on the bench, because for them as well, the most important game for them, they're going to think, and the more winnable game for them is going to be the weekend. And remember, even though they've got, well, I think from
a Palace perspective, I think they're probably. Listen, they were on a very poor run of form, but I think they're unbeaten in their last 4. They've kind of switched things around a little bit. They're playing a little bit better. But I think if you had an honest conversation with a Palace fan, even though they'll be at home for the Premier League game, I think they might be targeting this game as a more winnable one, given they're probably thinking that Arsenal make a load of changes.
I don't know, because I think that Palace would look on it. I always think about what's the manager and the ownership of that club going to be thinking. They want to stay in the Premier League. Right, especially the manager's going to be thinking, we're at home. You know, we saw that Arsenal didn't travel well when they went to Fulham, so I need my key guys for that. Eze, who was injured for a while, has just come back recently. Will they risk him right from the start in Carabao Cup because if he got an injury and then he's out for the weekend, you know what I mean? And I think, you know, same with Arteta, he's going to be targeting that game on the weekend even more. I mean, let me get it from you two. Which game would you rather? You're only allowed, say someone said to you right now, you can only have one of them victories in one of those games. Which game would it be? Obviously we want to win both, but you know, it's an interesting
That's a very uncomfortable question.
You know what?
It is,
it's uncomfortable because not winning on Saturday is more damning. But I feel like we've caused enough damage in the league already that we're not going to do it. Whereas a win tomorrow gets us into a semi-final in a cup.
You say that about damage in the league, but it's really weird that, like, even speaking to a Liverpool fan earlier, he's like, yeah, because this is wide back open again because, you know, what are we off the top now? Like 6 points off the top. They got a game in hand, we know. But I think we're seeing that. You know, couple draws for a team, everybody's kind of right back in it again. So,
can I stick my neck out and say that, given that there's 21 games left to go in the Premier League, and already we're a little bit behind, and the fact that, you know, a win here could lead us to winning a trophy, I'll probably take the Carabao Cup. I know I kind of feel uncomfortable saying that, but yeah.
But
it's all about trophies,
But this
is
what I mean about the worth of the Carabao Cup and how it doesn't decide your fate. Because we could win tomorrow against Palace, go through to a semi. You don't beat Palace on the weekend and drop points again. It goes from a title race to a top 4 race to crisis real quick. And that form continues.
I think if it came down to one of them, listen, I desperately want to win both. For me, it's Saturday, right? Because I don't think it's completely over yet. I think we're teetering on it being over. But if we win on Saturday, and then, you know, remember, Liverpool got to go away to Tottenham that ain't going to be easy for them. You know what I mean? I still think there's twists and turns in this title race, but you've got to be involved.
And really, we demand wins in both. We demand to be in a semi-final.
We absolutely demand wins in both. I mean, listen, when that draw came out of all the teams that left in it, you know, bar say maybe getting Brentford at home, and Brentford have been playing better than Palace this season. You'd look on it and say, at home against Palace, that's favourable. You know, going away to Palace, they want to, you know, they, like you said, beat their big rivals Brighton on the weekend. It was an impressive win as well. Yeah. That's going to be a tough game. But, you know, anyway, I'd love you guys out there to let us know what you think on that. Which one would you rather? Just as that we all want both. We all want both. But, you know, let me just get this from you guys. I need predictions for this game.
I'm going to go 2-0.
2-0 to Arsenal.
Yeah.
From open play?
I hope so. I hope so. If I had to pick, yeah, both would be from open play, but just win, just get into the semis.
2-0.
Move.
I'm going to go 3-1. I think there might be goals in this game because I don't think Palace will come here and deploy a low block. I do actually think they'll try and go for it. I don't think there's no real point in doing the low block stuff for them. I think they'll try and go for it. They'll open the game up a bit. I think we'll score 3, and I think they might get 1. If they do get 1, I don't want them to get 1, but if they do, let it be Eddie Nketiah.
I do see a low block in both games, this game and the game on thing. I do see Palace being very defensive in that game. Not maybe as bad as what we saw with Everton and Fulham, where they were like literally were ultra defensive. I don't think they can quite have the tools to do that, but I do see a lot of defending from Palace. I think I'll go with you 2-0.
Yeah.
I kind of like that, but listen, here we have to win this game. We have to respond, and I think we did see, like last week, we saw a response when Arsenal did create a lot of chances in that game against Monaco and scored 3. So I'm going to go for 2-0. What are you guys going for out there? But listen, certainly the next 2 games coming up against Crystal Palace are huge. Carabao Cup, chance to get into the semi-final, and chance to then, you know, stay in the title race at the weekend. And the thing is, the 2 games are almost joined, because if you lose the Carabao Cup game, what sort of vibe does that feed through to the game on the Saturday? Very, very important game for more than one reason on Wednesday night, and we got it covered there on AFTV. Don't forget, we've got a big watch along to it, and we'll be speaking to fans after the game. Also, don't forget NordVPN. Once again, as I said at the start of the show, click the link in the description. Absolutely essential when you're traveling. Even if you're not traveling, keeps all of your data safe. So click onto NordVPN. Thank you very much for them for supporting this video, and we'll see you again soon.